All right. Can I say anything exciting?
Taxes.
Probably the taxes.
All right, so in respect of everyone's time, I would like to call the meeting to order.
Okay.
Let's start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Give me 1 second. I have to leave by 7 because I don't drive at night. So
Very good.
I'm just telling you, if I'm adding you on.
I hope to have you out by then.
Lead by,
If we may please
lead by
join
6,
us.
right?
In the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agnes,
that
you
every
meant,
day in school.
6 o'clock, right? You said 7?
Do that every day in school.
No, 7.
Yeah, in the morning.
I still have my head.
You know, I started teaching
Oh, good.
4 months already.
So if I may, we'll just do roll call. So we have NBC,
Present.
Tom Lennon, Agnes,
Yes.
and Kevin,
Present.
and Mayor Kramer,
Yes.
Ed Ward,
Present.
Nick, Nicholas is
He's in Florida.
he's in Florida, and Iris,
Here.
okay, in January as well. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975, Sunshine Law, the schedule and notification of this meeting have been provided to the Courier News, the Home News Tribune, and the Franklin Township Clerk. Copies have been posted in the library's vestibule and are available at the reference desk. This will be formally the public portion of our meeting. So we'll go to approval of minutes of the prior meeting.
Do you want to ask if anybody wanted to say anything?
That's true. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Well, let me start off with something. Since everyone has joined us here, I have to make a public apology for my absence over the past few months. I've been doubly tasked at work with 2 responsibilities, given a great opportunity at the hospital, moving from one department to another, but the other position was never filled. So I had the great pleasure of filling 2 jobs and getting paid for one.
Lucky you.
Which I'm very happy now my life has come into order. Over the past few weeks, at the end of a little bit more organization brought to my life, my Andre and I decided to take some time off, and we spent a few weeks down in Florida. So I've now returned. I understand some things have taken place. I've received a phone call that I was nominated to be a vice president and a chair, and
You were
I
elected.
understand that I was elected.
Yeah, that was
And I'd like to say thank you so very, very much for your trust, considering I've been absent during those time periods. I've also come to understand that we've had a loss in that being John, and it's so very sad to hear. And my heart goes to his, and I'm sure all of ours does go to his family as well. Is there anything that would like to be brought to the floor in a public meeting, please?
Ann Taylor, resident. I was just wondering, we seated a new board member last month, I believe. You don't have a formal swearing-in ceremony or any kind of...
Never had.
Never had.
Never had.
Under the...
I did it at the, across the street.
Oh, she
Township.
did? She swore you in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As a member of
I've
the
been on
board?
the board the longest, and I've never been
I don't
sworn
know
in.
if it was.
I
haven't been
but
sworn in.
I
This
had
is
to-
my
I had
second
to-
year.
My experience is
4 years
people
already.
get sworn in, but
Oh,
Yeah, I did, when
That's
I brought
Just a
the
question.
papers to, the building across the street.
well, mine's is different because I was
Yours is
appointed.
different.
Yeah, mine's is different. I'm standing for the superintendent, so.
thank you.
Yeah, but that's all.
Is there any other public points to be made? Would anyone like to bring anything to the table at this time? Would you like to read the minutes from these?
No, we don't need them.
No, we
We just accept them and then we ask if anybody have any comments or questions.
All right.
All right.
Do we have,
We accept the minutes as,
Yeah.
and do we have a second?
Second.
And we have a second?
Who was the
All
second?
those in
I'm sorry, who was the
NBC.
second?
NBC.
NBC. All those in favor of approving prior minutes, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
you have to recuse yourself, you weren't here last week.
You might have read the text. I read that meeting. And I'm second, not first.
All right, director's reports.
Should do the green sheets first, financial reports.
Any questions with regard to the budget thus far?
Line item 908, maintenance automation, that's that for, that's the only one we're over.
That is for, that's for
Copy.
Sedonics. Yeah, we went over a little bit. That's all we're going to pay.
Okay.
That's an annual fee.
That's an annual,
Yeah.
got it.
That's Cersei Dynix, that's the automated catalog. Yeah.
Where am I missing that we went over?
All right.
Okay.
Oh, you're looking at Franklin Park. You
Yeah.
wanna look
Oh,
at-
okay.
The Township.
I'm like,
Right.
Yeah, some things are for the,
No, this is the one.
You didn't- maybe-
You don't have
maybe
it.
I'll give it to you?
Here, look at
There
it.
you go,
sorry.
There you go.
okay.
And then Franklin Park.
So you can see 908.
Yeah,
Fourth line.
Ah,
104.
Yeah, that was the 104%.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I don't see this. Thank you very much.
You have the other one?
You have to
Franklin
leave
Park?
the
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah.
Yes, I do have Franklin Park.
Yeah, that one looks good. I don't have any questions.
All right, financial reports, so if there aren't any further questions, we'll move on to the director's report, please.
I'd like to do the director's report, and then I'd like to kind of go back over to some other financial stuff. I didn't kind of know where to talk about it, but I'll do the program report first. It's not in the written report, but Saturday was Maker's Day, and it was very successful. We had it at both locations. And at the next meeting, I'll give you statistics and more details about what happened. During the rest of the month, we had 100 programs, and we had 1,513 people who came. One of the more unusual programs that we've had periodically is the simultaneous chess tournament. Used to be with Mayor Levine, now it's with Freeholder Levine. So that was on March 10. And we had an upgrade to Cersei Dynex during the month that went relatively okay. These things they never go really smoothly, but it went okay, it's done. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, then, doubling back, Iris had asked last meeting, she wanted to know what the interest rates were on all our various accounts. That's on the screen sheet, the pretty green sheet. So
Got it.
if the board wants to discuss
Yeah.
moving money, or this is the way it stands right now.
I think the reason I asked the question, and I didn't realize that we fall into a different category because we're a public entity, so we don't, any of the higher interest rates are not for us. So
Right.
I'm sorry to put you through the work.
Oh, no. I'm gonna talk about that next, actually. You always learn something doing these things. So, as part of my quest to find a place that would give us a higher interest rate, Nick recommended Treasury Bills, and with Charles Schwab. You can open up an account there at no charge, and then once you open up the account, once it's set up, then you can buy Treasury Bills. And the interest rate right now on that, if it's 1 year, is 2.48%. So I do have, this is a little different than what we've had with the bank, because Charles Schwab thinks that there should be 2 signers, and actually there should be, because what happens if I got hit by a bus? And it also would like the officers to fill out paperwork, so I brought paper, they selected the president and the secretary. So I brought in something for Iris, and I'll give Nick his when he gets back. Doesn't look too bad. I'm giving you an original and a copy, just in case you mess up.
That was my next question, because when I originally put the original call into Wells Fargo, they said to me, well, all the board members have to come together. I go, well, it's never been done before. I said, who signs for it? I said, right now, I think there's only one person. He said, that can't be. So that was going to be my next
Yeah,
discussion,
yeah.
so I'm glad that you took care of it.
You don't all have to.
No,
They just
no.
said, and you don't have to go there. If you just fill this out, then they gave me a,
Now, which bank, this is
This is
Charles
Charles
Schwab.
Schwab,
And where's
yeah.
their office, in Princeton?
yeah. So that's where that stands.
And for the treasurer, how long is it locked up?
1 month. I mean, 1 year.
1
1
year.
year, 1
Yeah.
year, 12 months.
Which isn't bad, because the one that Wells Fargo was gonna do was 2.6 for 11 months, so.
Yeah.
CD?
And they really kind of, as you
Yeah, they gave you
kind
the-
of
yeah,
didn't know
they-
it.
right.
So I
And
can't-
after I watched them on C-SPAN, interrogating the president, oh boy, did they put him through the ringer.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happens if the market rate falls? Will we be affected? If the market rate falls, will we be affected?
You get less interest.
I will double check on that, but my understanding was it stays the same.
Okay.
Stays the same.
What, you want this back today?
Oh, no. And I'm gonna have to get a copy of your driver's license somewhere too.
You do that right now.
Photocopy
Yeah.
on the way up today?
Yeah. But she has to be out of here by 7. So.
No,
Okay.
I don't see that being a
Oh.
requirement.
Okay.
We'll finish before.
Okay.
We'll finish before.
We'll be out. All right, so to have your report approved, or is it necessary?
No.
No, no.
No.
Okay.
There's no president's report.
There's no president's report.
Correspondence?
There's no correspondence.
No correspondence. Old business?
Nada.
If someone would just like to bring me up to speed, I'm very pleased to hear about the conversations taking place with the school board about some property.
That would be an executive session.
All right, very good, thank you. Other than my questions, I could always speak offline on that, so.
Shall we go into executive session now?
No.
New
This is
business.
other stuff first.
New business.
All right, old business, new business, the audit.
Okay, here's the audit. This is our yearly audit that we legally have to do.
Here, I'll pass them. Should we have any comments on this, or that'll be for executive, or what?
That could be now.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
Well, we haven't had.
Yeah, you have to
to
absorb. You have to absorb. Okay.
Is there a summary statement?
Yes, there is.
They just say what they do.
At the end, somewhere.
January, have you reviewed this?
Pardon me?
Have you reviewed it?
Yes.
And did you find anything? Did they find anything?
They didn't find anything, and I didn't find anything. I'm not a CPA, but, yeah. I also know that nothing unusual has gone on during the year, but they didn't find anything to question or to remark on.
In our opinion, the financial statements referred to above presently present fairly and in a material respect the financial position of the township, Franklin Township Public Library as of June 30th, 2018 and 17, and the changes in its assets and its cash flows for the year that ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. Well, that's very wordy, but it sounds like everything's been done right.
That's my interpretation.
The township
Generally
audit is
accepted.
about 20 times as thick.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So,
So everything, there weren't any red herrings apparently.
Everybody's done with that, then another part of the audit is what's called a proposed transfer form. There's a law in New Jersey that if a library has surplus funds, they are often obligated to return those funds to the town. So every year, the auditors fill out this form. It's a formula. They fill it out online. This is a copy of the online version. And as long as the bottom line 21 says 0, that means that there's no surplus that we would need to give back to the town. So I'm just going to pass that around so you can see that.
Those are the only copy you have?
Yeah. And then while I guess that half of the table is looking at the transfer form, we also have our Form 990 that goes to Internal Revenue, and we can take a look at that.
I'd like to take a look at the 990 and look at the top sheet, that's the summary. All the supplement documents are underneath. Good overall.
January, I don't, it's Treasury bills, can you buy them for more than 12 months?
Probably.
Did you answer?
Probably.
So
Probably.
would it not, do you know about
More interest.
stacking? Would you not, in other words, put one in for some in for a year, some in for 2 years, some in
5
3 years?
I can do that if the board,
That's-
wants.
That's,
All we're doing right now is just setting up the account. We haven't bought
right,
anything.
but I
We're not
think
buying
that's
anything yet.
something, I think that that's a way of
Increasing the interest.
increasing your interest, and not, and it's stacked, so you're not putting all your money in one place. It's not all at the lowest level, it's not all at the highest, it's, oh,
Thanks.
are used to type these. Did you see this? Al?
Yes.
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 Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, the third item under new business was our internet policy. And I included that because we've had this for quite a while. It's been from 2003. And I thought maybe it was a good idea for the board to look it over, just review it. You should review it periodically so you know what's going on. This is also on our website. And whenever you log on to one of our computers, this comes up and you have to agree to follow it before you can go any further on the computer. So if you want to take a look at it and see if you want to change anything or...
You notice the last item, use an internet workstation to conduct commercial activities, including the sale of goods and services. So if someone wanted to put up an item on eBay, is that like, no?
Well, you can, yeah, it's not a no. This is aimed at people who run their businesses from here. And an actual business, not buying stuff on eBay.
Well, but you could sell stuff on eBay. Could you work on your website for your business?
Mm.
I don't
Put
think
a
we would
car up
mind
for
that,
sale.
but it's kind of worded. I mean,
Okay.
at the very last paragraph, professional librarians on staff are authorized to terminate an internet session. So they're, in a way, they're judges and they can use discretion. I don't think. I mean, that maybe comes to you to training them that those kinds of things, or maybe they know it, that those kinds of things are okay. We just don't want somebody running a business.
Yes.
In other words, using public funds for
Private, yeah.
for private,
yeah.
right.
But if somebody was
something-
running a business, excuse me, they would be here daily?
Yes.
I mean, they wouldn't be,
Well, and they
We
would
have
be
had people...
taking up the
Right.
computer
Yes.
for other people a lot.
but it would be obvious to the staff
Yeah.
if somebody was here.
Isn't there
on
a time limit?
There's a time limit, but
Yeah,
if there's
that's
nobody
still-
waiting, you can
Then you can
extend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 4, I read this at home, and number 4 kind of brought to mind. There's a lot of discussion to either way, because if somebody's doing something inappropriate, then it behooves us, I think, to protect the other people who are using the library.
I'm sorry, I'm not following you.
Well, it's...
No person shall use a library internet station in a way that is inappropriate for an open public area shared by people of all ages and backgrounds, or that disturbs or interferes with patrons, employees, or the operation of the library. So,
Then it's
I
telling
mean,
you
that sounds
what-
appropriate.
Yeah.
Except if somebody is looking at pornography or doing something,
Well, that should be,
then
That would be
That's-
inappropriate.
Yeah,
that's
That's four-
inappropriate,
4A.
but we don't say anywhere
No,
that,
under it. It's
Yeah,
four,
under
and
4A.
then it lists what you cannot do.
receive print, text, images, graphics.
Or
Must be blocked.
so then if somebody is doing that,
Right,
then...
they're violating the policy.
Then-
Violate law, and we terminate the session.
And professional librarians on staff, the bottom paragraph,
Right.
are authorized to terminate the internet session.
Now, back to Mayor Kramer, you could add the language, you shouldn't use library computers for commercial purposes, financial gains, or fraud. That will basically cover your business aspect as well. And I can help out with some language because I got plenty of acceptable use policies, et cetera.
From the
Board
school?
education, yeah. I
Yeah.
have
School?
we'll have, so yeah, I can help
And then,
you
I
out
mean,
with the language.
I wouldn't mind seeing a tweak of I in that way.
Okay, so what do you want to say for I?
I say you have commercial activity including the sales of goods and services.
Yeah, that could be expanded.
Financial gain or fraud,
Right, absolutely.
Where are you putting it?
right after goods
Aye.
and services.
Financial gain or fraud?
Or
Yes.
fraud.
Should we have a statement in violation of the law? Well, we have that. Well, then, not quite. Maybe not. We could get too
Yes,
wrapped up in it.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much of this is taken from other libraries.
Now, when patrons are allowed to connect wireless if they bring their own devices,
Mhm.
correct? And they will also sign off before they click OK.
No.
Okay, so that needs to happen. So whoever designs your wireless access network, then that person, you know how you go to any place that provides you wireless access,
Okay.
normally they ask for your email
Send
and
to
they
them.
capture it, and then they have a disclosure where you must say, I agree. Because basically that is your acceptable use policy before they go online. Because they may not be using the workstation, if they're using their own
Wireless.
device, laptop, etc., they're still using your network, which is part of your resources. And they should basically follow your acceptable use policy.
And it's still in the public
Very good
place.
Yeah, so that's,
Okay.
Do you have one at the school?
It's going to take a
yes,
little
we
bit
do.
of doing.
We have our
And if
guest
you like, I'll
network.
bring in the one that we use
Yeah.
from the hospital.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's based on whoever designs your wireless network. Whenever they put in the password or whatever how to access your wireless network, sometimes they have a secure and they have a guest. So, for example, we have a guest network. Once you log on, open up your web browser, a window comes up. You
Yes.
say, "Welcome to Franklin Board of Education. This is our guest network. Here goes our policy. Click here to agree." If you don't click here, you don't get
Don't get
access. So we need to think about
Okay.
Yeah,
it.
they have that at my work.
Yeah, a lot of places
Yeah,
have
schools.
that. McDonald's, you name it,
All the
they
schools.
have that. Yeah, so that's
Starbucks.
important that you have that. Especially this day and age, because 2003 we didn't have a lot of portable devices.
Yeah.
Now we do.
More and more.
Yeah, we have more. So, yeah.
And do you sign out after you finish? Or how?
Well, once you log on, it basically you're consenting, but you should do it every single time.
Oh.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
In a related topic, do we have much trouble with viruses? And
No, we've got a really good firewall and we've got protection from it.
Okay.
right,
We were hacked years ago.
Oh, really?
Years ago by the Chinese.
of course, since
Really?
Yeah.
this is televised, I hope we're not inviting somebody.
Which years ago, we've improved things greatly since
Yeah.
Yeah.
then.
That's not a challenge. Okay.
Any further new business?
Oh, a very minor thing. I probably missed it every time I came in. But when you come in the front door, off to the side, there are these display,
Mhm.
and it says, "Look here," and they're empty right now. Is that just because we're changing them over? or-
They're huge.
Okay, but they haven't always been empty.
No, they never look at it. I had to double take because it was the first time I ever saw it.
Always looking at.
Maybe that's it. Maybe I just noticed the
We've
emptiness
had people
of
who
it.
displayed expressed concern that people weren't looking at them, so we put those up,
Uh-huh,
not foreseeing that there would be some days when it's empty.
okay.
All right, so do we have a desire to go into executive?
Yes, to educate you on what's been happening.
Excellent. So, if you'd be so kind.
Well, we
Somebody
we have to motion and
Motion
second
to
and
close
vote.
public, please, I'm sorry. We have a motion for NBC.
Yes.
Second.
Second, Ed, second. And so all those in favor, closing public.
Don't talk until I turn the mic off.
Yeah, we turn the
You
camera
gotta
off.
shut the door.
As opposed?
Camera off.
We put no post. No.
I guess if you're opposed, you just leave it. It's exciting.
All right, so may I have a motion to close executive?
So moved.
Open to public?
Second.
Second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Did you have any other comments?
Any other discussions?
Are there any further news on the north section?
So the youth center was reviewed at the planning board, and reviewed is the right word, they don't have to approve it. And they were just, they look at parking and, should you do this, should you do that? Do you want to tweak it this way or that way? And, there were some people who talked about, they're concerned about traffic.
I watched it.
And et cetera, but basically the planning board gave an affirmative nod to it. And so it moves on. It looks like 1,600 feet. Originally it was gonna be 1,200. What was it, was originally 1,000 square, I forget.
remember.
Yeah, the library's gonna get a bigger area than we thought. And what we have to do is start negotiating, because we were going to pay something per square foot for the space, but we weren't gonna have to we wouldn't pay rent, we wouldn't pay heat.
Custodial, right.
Right,
Just square footage.
right, so, we need to, at some point, talk with the town and come up with a number for that.
Do we have any input?
And if we want to discuss any specifics of that, we'll go back into executive session. Which we can.
We'll talk to
if
the
you
mayor.
want. So that's where that lies. We're talking about, I think we're talking about groundbreaking this year.
No, September 2020, they said.
Wasn't that completion? Was that completion?
I
I thought that Mr. Vornlocker said September 2020.
Yeah.
I have the article, and I thought it said completion 2020.
Let me call Mr. Bornlock.
We can ask.
It's pretty fast.
Yeah.
Too fast.
This year, it's not gonna be ready this year.
Maybe it was great.
No, it was going to go out to bid and then, sorry to bother you. When are we putting shovels in the ground for the youth center? And when would it be completed, roughly, guess? Okay, thanks. All right, bye, bye. He's hoping for, not written in concrete, shovels in the ground in July and completion of September of next year,
2020.
2020.
That's what I thought.
September.
article,
Completion.
Which
Yes,
reminds
that's what I
me that, I don't know if you're aware of it, January, but the calculation for the library tax, it's a very complicated, I'm told it's a complicated calculation, I've never made it myself. It's of course based on the total valuation of the town, and it has to do with like the last 2 years, and I'm not sure exactly how it goes, but the library income should increase by 150,000.
Right, yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
Right, so, which is roughly, is that 5, no, that can't be 5% of our income. What's our, Our income's
Well,
around
it's
3 million something.
It's 3.1, or 3 point, it might even be 3 point, it's on the budget, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. So,
3.3 or 3.1?
3.3?
3.3.
Yeah, 3.327,904.
Well, it's 150,000.
3.3,
3% of that?
Is it 3? I'm not good at, I was out of school when we did fractions, percentages.
which is, that can't be right. Is that
Well,
half
if it
a
was-
percent?
If it was 1 million, wouldn't it be 10%?
If it was 100,000 would be 10% of a million.
So what's your taxes? Because 3% was 165 grand.
Right, 150,000.
So maybe it's 0.3, or maybe it's a third of, if it was 10%, no, it's 3%.
We're looking like geniuses
I
here.
know.
There you go.
We are.
150 over
It's,
three.
it's almost, it's 4.5%.
Oh,
Well,
Yeah.
That's a 4.5% increase, and
Oh, yeah.
that's interesting, because I was concerned that the budget, the operating budget for the 3 branches was close, and I wanted a 5% buffer, and we just got it.
4.5.
Wow.
So, and we have time too, because if we do buy the land, I have to be careful here. It seems like the appropriation of land for the southern branch will be less costly than what we originally were anticipating.
Mhm.
So that leaves us a balance that we can eat into over time in case we overestimate, and then we can adjust expenses. So I think we're well situated now.
Good.
Any other business?
Nope.
So, move to close.
say when the next meeting's going to
The next meeting, we have next meeting scheduled for April 24th.
Which I will be away.
Oh,
Enjoy.
I will,
You too?
Yeah.
someplace good?
I'll be
yes. Very.
I'd like to say that one time.
All right, so now,
I'd
move
like
to close
to
the
be
meeting.
away.
Do I have a motion to close the meeting?
I so moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Pull the plug.
So moved.
Well,
Thank you.
Nice job, Tom.
The flood. Very good.
And Iris, it's 6:21.
No, we were going to discuss something else, Mayor.
Okay.
Enjoy the
I
evening.
think,
Pleasure.
Iris, do you want to give me your driver's license?
I was thinking that, when I was listening to the planning board for the new youth center, they were discussing the closing hours. And one of the reasons that I originally went to see to Mr. Warnocker was that to have a youth center so that when the library closes,